Hello, my name is Kayla and welcome to Tips and Tricks Tuesday, where I'll be showing you all of the latest tips and tricks in PVFARM. Today, let's talk a little bit about project assets. So if you navigate to the project assets page in a blank project like I have here, you're going to notice a few things are preset, but you are going to be able to build out these project assets for whatever is going to be used in your project specifically. I can come to my catalog, and if there's anything that's been created by my company that I want to use, I can navigate to it and then select Add to Project, and it will show up in my project assets as something that's available to me. Once I've added it to my project, if I navigate to my layout panel and come to my racking system, it will now be available for me to use whenever I'm creating a layout. But let's say that I want to create something that doesn't exist in my catalog already. I'm going to click on one of the purple texts that says add whatever piece of equipment to series. So for example, let's add a single axis tracker to series. I'm going to get a creation wizard that pops up where I can either create new or duplicate existing from an existing project. When I hit create new, I'll have a few basic pieces of information that I can enter in. I can now select the PV module that I would like to use. I can also select if I would like the layout to be something other than 1P. I now have that option as well. And then you're going to say how many PV modules per string you want to use. Let's keep it at 6 for now. So I've created that object and it's showing up here in my equipment that is available to me, but I don't see it in my site. That's because we haven't generated anything with it. But let's say there's a few details that we want to change up. For example, it automatically created a 5-string, 9-string, and 14-string. Maybe that's not the exact configuration that I want. So I'm going to click on that piece of equipment, which is going to open up this little single axis tracker menu. If there's anything that I've put in before that I would like to change, I can do that in the product, commercial, and PV modules section. And I can now come into the models, which means the different lengths of tracker, and make adjustments to those. So today I want to change this 5-string to a 6-string. Notice that it is getting longer or shorter depending on how many strings I want to put in, and it's automatically adjusting the overall length. I can, of course, also manually override that if I know the length of that object. I also have some more options here that weren't available to me in the creation wizard. For example, if I know my motor pile gaps, my regular pile gaps, any kind of offsets, any of that can be put in the specify gaps between modules section. And if I want to get into my granular pile configuration, I can toggle on my exact piles placement. And that is now going to turn on this view where I can change out the type of pile and the location of that pile for this particular tracker. Now, once I've started to make changes, notice I can't scroll between models, so I'll need to either apply my changes or revert my changes. So for now, let's apply those changes. And now I can move on to my next model in the series and make all of those adjustments as well. Once I have these all configured the exact way I want them, I can now go to my layout tab and use them to generate my layout. And if I want to share this with my company and add it to my catalog for future use, I can click on the 3 dots and I can save that series to my catalog. Also, if you want to get rid of some of the existing standard equipment, or if there's some equipment here that you just don't need anymore, you can click on the 3 dots, and where it says delete unused equipment, you can select that and it will be gone. For a more in-depth look at the project assets panel, visit our knowledge base at success.pvfarm.io. I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you next week.